Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and together with my friends Sergio and Santiago, we bring you an interesting podcast where you can learn histories of paranormal events that will give you goosebumps. So find a comfortable place, put on your headphones and turn off the light, if you dare. The human being has populated almost every place on Earth and we have explored it. Its depths, science and technology have allowed us to discover the secrets hidden in it. However, there are mysteries that humanity has not been able to explain and that since historical times have been preserved as strange events without explanation. From sightings of supernatural beings to human experimentation, today we will talk about some of the thousands of existing mysteries. We will begin with some things that puzzles us and is cruel to us. Human experimentation has been one of the most chilling facts that has come to light since long before the Second World War. But it intensified at a time because the need to win the war led man and science to practice ruthless experiments since the governments do this in secret.
This story begins with the Roosevelt case in which an unidentified object was crashed in Mexico, followed by there were sightings of strange beings in the area days after the incident. This UFO would be sent to Area 51 where it would begin a series of investigations with the beings that were inside. These were recognized Area 51 as a place where experiments with extraterrestrials are being conducted, but not only with these beings, but also with humans. Everything beings with a girl named Abigail, which was the daughter of one of the most important scientists, called Albert Bish. During the Second War, the United States sought at all cost to ensure their victory, but were convinced that the German power was to the experimentation, as it has been shown that Nazi Germany experimented with people to obtain the famous biologic weapons, as this became of the major interest to win the war. Something like the creation of the perfect soldier. Because of this, the United States could not stay behind and had to undertake the search for the modification of human beings. This project would be in charge of the scientist Albert Bish. To carry out his experiment, it was necessary that the person to be genetically modified was completely trustworthy, because if the technology advanced fell into the hands of the enemy, they could be in a great danger. Albert decided that the right person for this job was his daughter. With this, he would start the experiment where they would start with unpleasant genetic modification with dogs, where they forced Abigail to consume all kinds of drugs designed for this. It was only a matter of time before starting to notice the change.
Her face began to grow, her teeth began to acquire a strange shape, her hair turned white and began to fall little by little. Her hand began to increase exponentially, but her father was determined to end the experiment. After a while, Abigail had lost consciousness, her body changed completely, tall and pale face, sharp teeth and eyes as dark as night. After this, everyone had accepted her failure in the experiment, since they had created a monster. But Albert refused to end the life of his daughter. After this, consumed by the guilt of having turned his daughter into a monster, Albert commits suicide. Before committing suicide, Albert would leave a letter asking them not to kill her daughter, to try to save her at all costs. After her death, the government was not interested in spending resources to save Abigail's life, but they kept her promise not to kill her. After a week of not feeding her, Abigail, consumed by her rage and hunger, escaped from her cell, killing a dozen guards guarding her. After that, Area 51 decided to seal off the West Wing, which was the area there Abigail was trapped. This happened 16 years ago, but many employees who have given interviews to television networks assure that there are nights when heart-wrenching screams are heard from the West Wing, as if it were a beast, and they assure that Abigail is still alive. I hope this story has surprised you as it has you. We are waiting for a next chapter of Saints of the Dark.